Hey kids, are you guys ready for a story?
Yeah.
All right. This one is called Bedtime Lessons, Dragon Tales in the Bog of Confusion, Chapter 2.
That's funny.
You like it? Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go. Eloy and Ely's baffled dragons did not want them to go on their trip. They growled and woofed and spat fire. Nonetheless, the brave brother and sister set out on their journey Saturday morning because they didn't have school. Ely held the map as Eloy led the way. They were making their trip to the wise wizard Waddly Wobblewog, who lived near Hogdog Bog in a soggy log. After walking for a few hours, Ely spoke up. "The map says that Sprogs have to jog through the Hogdog Bog because the wild hogdog will flog us with his tail if we don't," Ely said. That made Eloy very scared, so he stopped to look at the map with his sister. He pointed as he spoke. "Look there! It says the bog is clogged with frogs that burp a stinky smog," Eloy said. "There's also a hazy fog that'll make us groggy. For more information, we can check the wizard's blog," Ely said. "This trip is gonna be a slog," Eloy replied. They both took a deep breath and looked at the task before them. They were near the Hogdog Bog. "Are we ready to run?" Ely asked. "Yup," Eloy said. With no more prologue, they did their best sprog jog through the Hogdog Bog, dodging the Hogdog Flog, the smog-clogged Frog Bog, and the Slog-Grog Fog without checking the blog. They arrived at the soggy log of wise wizard Waddly Wobblewog. "Who goes there?" came a crackly voice. It was the wizard Wobblewog. He wore a full-length robe, had an explosion of white hair, and held a gnarled staff. "It's me and my sister," Eloy said. He was about to say their names, but the wizard started talking before he could. "Hello, me," the wizard said to Eloy, and then he turned to Ely. "Hello, my sister. I'm the wise wizard Wobblewog. How can I help you?" "No, my sister's name is Ely and I'm Eloy," Eloy said. "Ah, so you want to change your name, eh? That's a simple matter. You need to fill out the name change form. I've got it around here somewhere," the strange old wizard said as he turned and began rummaging through stuff in his soggy log house. He found an old wet brown piece of paper and turned back to them asking, "What do you want to change your name to, sonny?" "No," Eloy said loudly. "No?" the wizard asked, confused. "I've never heard of anyone named No, but I guess if that's what you want to be called." He started to go through his things again. "Now where did I put that eraser?" "Wizard Wobblewog?" Ely asked. "You can't be named Wizard Wobblewog. I'm already using that name. It'll confuse people for us both to be named the same thing. I must have forgotten to introduce myself. I'm the wise wizard Waddly Wobblewog." Eloy grabbed Ely's arm and pulled her away from the old man to talk to her. "What are we going to do?" Eloy asked. "We can't make him understand us." "Let's look around. Maybe there's something that can help us," Ely said. Eloy wasn't sure if it was a good idea to look through the wizard's things, but he didn't know what else to do. "Okay, I'll distract him while you sneak and look around." They both nodded and turned back toward the wizard. "Okay, I've decided what I want to change my name to," Ely said to Wobblewog. "Oh, I'll have to find a name change form. Give me just a second," the old wizard said. Ely grabbed his hand and lifted it in front of his face. "Oh, splendid! There's one already in my hand. Okay, what do you want your name to be?" he asked. "Drizzlefunger, Puddlewurts, Hustle Pudding," Ely said slowly and loudly. As she said it, she made a hand motion to Eloy. Eloy started to sneak around behind the wizard, now that the old man was staring at the page and he was trying to write the long name. "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to spell that, dearie," the wizard said as Eloy snuck into his soggy log house. The house was a terrible mess, even worse than Eloy's room back home. There was stuff everywhere. On most of it, there was the same word written. On the dishes, on the doors, even on the walls, the word confused was marked out in big letters. As Eloy walked through the house, he stopped when he spotted a big writing desk. On it, there was a note written in little letters. Eloy was sure it was the handwriting of the wizard. He whispered the words as he read the note. This note is written by Wizard Wobblywog. I've let my Baffle Dragon grow too large. Baffle is now casting a confusion spell on my mind. I can hardly think normal thoughts anymore. If someone finds this letter, please help. My only hope is to ask Draconis for rescue. Though Baffle Dragon has me so confused, I can't keep the thought in my head long enough to call Draconis for help. Draconis lives in the land above the mountains, beyond the clouds of forever. Instructions for getting Draconis' help are as follows. Step 1, believe in Draconis. Step 2, once you've believed in Draconis, you can ask him for help no matter where you are, and he will come. Eloy picked up the letter, planning to carry it to Ely, who was still talking to the wizard. As soon as he touched the letter, his own Baffle Dragon started growling and shooting painful balls of fire. Dondra Pufflewiggins' soup hat, Wobblewog was saying as he wrote something on the piece of paper. I've never met anyone that wants to change their name so many times, but soup hat it is. Ely, look, Eloy said. He handed her the note. She read it quickly as her eyes grew wide. The wizard kept mumbling something about the name change for him, but they ignored him. Who's Draconis? Ely said. I don't know, but it says we need to believe in him, Eloy said. Once we believe in him, we can ask him for help. Look, she said as she pointed to the note. Draconis lives in the land above the mountains. That must mean we need to climb the mountain to find him. No, I don't think so, Eloy argued. It says that all we have to do is believe. Then we can ask him for help from where we are. I think we could do that right now, from right here. He watched as his sister thought about what he said. No, we have to climb the mountain. I'm sure of it, Ely said. As soon as she said it, Eloy noticed something very strange. His own Baffle Dragon stopped growling and stopped shooting fire and stopped shouting at him. Eloy looked at his Baffle Dragon. It is not enough to believe, Baffle said as his eyes glowed with fire. Because there is no Draconis. Climb the mountain. See for yourselves. There is no Draconis. Eloy felt so confused and upset that he didn't know what to do. To be continued. Find out what happens in the next chapter of Dragon Tales. Okay, so I've got some questions for you guys. So the first question is, what is confusion? Do you know what confusion is?
Confusion is when you don't know what to do.
So what is a lie? Do you know what a lie is?
Lies when you say something that's not true.
That's good. Yeah, a lie is when you say something that's not true. And confusion is when you don't know what's right. Now, sometimes when you're confused, you don't know what's right, but you think you know what's right. Other times, you know that you don't know what's right. So that's what confusion and a lie is. Now, can you guys name some people in the story who were confused?
Eloy and Ely were confused. Baffle got Wizard Woggly, whatever, confused, and he can't remember anything, and he got all his stuff mixed up.
That's right. Who was the person that was there somebody in the story that wasn't confused?
Baffle.
That's right. Baffle wasn't confused, but what was he doing?
He was confusing people.
He was confusing other people. That's right. All right. So did you know that there are people who will say things about Jesus that are not true?
like that story when that man talked about Jesus and then the soldiers said a lie to the king.
So there are people who are confused about Jesus and they'll say things that aren't true, but there's other people who know things about Jesus, but they'll say things that are wrong on purpose. So what are some lies that you might hear about Jesus?
I don't know.
Eli, do you know?
No.
No? Well, I'll tell you some lies that you might hear about Jesus. Some people might say that Jesus never existed, that Jesus never lived. Would that be true or would that be a lie?
That'd be a lie. Because I know he's alive. They think that he would be on earth, but he's really not. He's just in heaven.
Those are some good thoughts. So some people say Jesus never existed or that he never lived. That's one lie people say. Here's another one that some people will say, that he was not the Son of God, or that he was not the Savior, or some people will say that he was just a man. He wasn't from heaven. He wasn't God's son. Can you imagine somebody saying stuff like that?
Yeah, I would correct them.
Oh, you'd correct them if you heard somebody say that?
That's a good thing to correct people about.
That's a good point. Not everything that somebody says that's wrong is something we have to correct, but that's probably a pretty important one in it, if somebody's saying something like that. So here's another one that some people say. Some people will say that you have to do good works to get saved or to go to heaven. Do you think that's true?
No, but God does want you to obey. That's good works.
Yeah, that's true. So some people will say you have to obey in order to go to heaven, but is that right?
No.
What do you have to do to go to heaven, to have eternal life?
Believe.
Some people will say Jesus doesn't give everlasting life to those who believe in him.
I have never heard someone say that.
Never heard someone say that? Well, I'm glad, but there's people out there that will say that. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Very good. Okay, so what are some true things that we learn from the verse about Jesus? Can you think of any? Can't think of any? Well, one is that Jesus is God's Son. Another is that Jesus came to the world to save the world. And also, the last one is, what do we have to do to have everlasting life?
Believe in Jesus for it.
That's great. We got to believe in Jesus for everlasting life, and we get it. That's really cool.
See you later, alligator. Gotta go, buffalo.
After a while, crocodile. See you guys later. Thanks for listening.